Hi everyone, it's Andrea Tooley. Thank you so much for watching this video. Not too long ago, I did an Instagram live with a great friend on Instagram, Dr. Erin Carlquist, and I got a ton of questions that we just weren't able to answer during the actual Instagram live session, and so I thought today I would come to you on YouTube to answer those questions and a few other questions that I've been getting frequently. Alright guys, so these questions, I have them here on my phone. They are a complete range of all kinds of questions from pre-med and medical school type questions to beauty type questions, all kinds of things like that. And so we're just going to get started totally randomly. So here we go. Number one, how do you stay so motivated to stay on your game at work? This is a really common question. I'm always asked how I stay motivated. And I think the biggest thing for staying motivated, I've commented on this a lot, is just enjoying what you do and liking what you're doing and having a lot of goals and a lot of excitement about reaching those goals. And so I'm able to stay motivated because I have so many exciting things that I'm working towards, and honestly I really enjoy the process of working towards them. I feel like it's really difficult to stay motivated if you're not thoroughly enjoying all the things that you're doing, but luckily I really enjoy the whole process of being in medicine and all the things that I'm doing related to that, and so I think that's the best way I stay motivated. If you're struggling, I would advise you to definitely evaluate what you're doing and make sure that you enjoy what it is that you're doing. Sometimes there's things that we have to go through that we don't particularly enjoy, like organic chemistry or physics or calculus or tons of classes that I haven't particularly enjoyed. And it's definitely hard to stay motivated to study, but I almost don't think of it as something that requires motivation. You just do it and you don't think about it too much. You know, honestly, being in school and studying is your job. And I think if you view it as your full-time job and a non-optional situation, you know, to me it was not an option to get bad grades. And so studying was not an option, it was a necessity. And so it really kind of takes motivation out of the equation because it's not something that you're choosing to do, it's something that you view, at least for me, I viewed as something that I had to do. And so I think that's one thing that was helpful to me. So think of it as your job. Think of it as just a requirement and part of your daily life so that you don't have to stay motivated all the time. But then also think of the big picture items and the things that are really going to make you feel happy. So think about the people that you're helping. I always say when you're feeling burnt out and you don't want to keep going, that's when it's time to step back and start giving back. So volunteer, spend some time with, spend extra time with patients, all those things that kind of renew and rejuvenate your heart and kind of give you this renewed love for what it is you're doing. That's gonna really help you find some extra motivation and some extra happiness. Okay, next question. What do you suggest for ranking residency programs? Man, I love this question. I think that the biggest thing for ranking residency programs is where you feel happy and where you feel like you belong. You should not, and I repeat, you should not rank a residency program because it is the best program in the country or because it's the best one you interviewed at. You should rank it where you are happy. I say this time and time again, you can be a superstar resident at a medium residency program and you can be a terrible resident at a great residency program. Really, it's up to you. And so the program is not going to make you a great resident. You're going to make you a great resident. And so you have to find the program where you feel like you're supported to excel the most that you can. And so choose a program where you feel supported, you feel like you have what you need. Some programs are going to give you much more autonomy, and maybe you're someone who needs a lot of autonomy and that's something that you should value. Other programs are going to give you a lot of support, a lot of time for research, a lot of hand-holding, and maybe you're a person who needs those kinds of things, so pick that program for you. Some programs are going to be more research heavy, some are more clinical or surgical heavy, some are really retina strong, at least in ophthalmology. So find the program that you think suits you best and is going to let you excel and flourish, and that's going to be the biggest thing that matters. Now, a few other tips for when it comes to choosing a residency program. If you think you are interested in a certain subspecialty. So for me, say example, oculoplastics, which I didn't know I was interested in before residency, but say you are, say you've done a ton of research in glaucoma and you really want to do glaucoma, I would recommend choosing a program that has very strong mentors in that subspecialty. So you wouldn't want to choose a program that didn't have a glaucoma fellowship or didn't have like very strong kind of mid-career or senior glaucoma surgeons. If they're all like brand new young, they don't know anybody, that's going to be really hard for you when it comes time for fellowship match, because you won't have strong people to write your letters. I mean, even if the mentors are early career and are fabulous, they just don't have the long-standing connections that a more senior ophthalmologist might have. And so think about that. Kind of try to, if you have a known fellowship goal in mind. If you have no idea, then just pick where you're happy. I remember when I interviewed at Mayo, I felt like I was so out of my league, and I felt so just enamored by the Mayo values, and I was so just awestruck by what an incredible place it was. And I thought to myself that I would be the luckiest person in the whole world to train there. And I didn't care about logistics, like it's cold in Minnesota and Rochester's a small town and blah 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 blah. I felt like in my heart it was just this like absolutely fantastic place where I could be worked really hard, and I felt like it was out of my league, and so I felt like it would have made me better. And so that's a reason that I loved Mayo. So anyways, just find where makes you happy, and don't pay attention to all of the other stuff on paper, because at the end of the day you got to be happy. Okay, next question. What do you do when you are stressed but have a ton to do? So this happens all the time when you have like a million things to do and you're so stressed, and then you get this like paralysis because you have too many things to do. And I respond to this type of situation in two different ways. So one, I'll either do nothing, and I used to call this taking an anxiety nap, where I would feel so overwhelmed with things to do, and I would have so much anxiety and I'd be exhausted, and so I would take a nap because I'd be so tired and I just needed a nap. But I would be so anxious about all the things that I had to do that I couldn't sleep. And so I would just sit there riddled with anxiety and not be able to sleep. And then finally I would just get up and get back to work. And so that's what I called an anxiety nap. I hope you guys can relate to this. And if you've taken an anxiety nap before, please let me know in the comments, because I've talked to a ton of people that are like, oh yeah, I take those all the time. So when you're super stressed and you have a ton to do, I either become crippled with things to do and I do nothing, or I make a domination plan. And I've talked about domination plans a million times before, but domination plans are my way of like taking hold and taking charge when I feel stressed and overwhelmed with too many things to do. And so a domination plan is me kind of mentally preparing and telling myself, this is how I'm going to conquer whatever it is I need to conquer. And so that might be an extensive to-do list of things that I need to do that day, or it might be a topic that I'm struggling with learning. So like, this is how I'm gonna conquer understanding like some complicated topic in whatever class. And even though it's one topic, I make a domination plan about how I'm gonna learn it. And that might involve like, step 1, read this chapter. Step 2, do all the practice questions. Step 3, do the review questions in this other book. Step 4, redo the questions. Step 5, you know, whatever. And that's my domination plan. And I feel like once I've like made a defined plan for how I'm going to accomplish whatever it is I want to accomplish, then suddenly I feel much better and I'm much more able to accomplish those things. And so if you're feeling overwhelmed, you have too many things to do and you're stressed, then try making a domination plan. Or first you can take an anxiety nap, either one. But try those and let me know how it goes for you. Okay, next question. How do you make time to do work during the day? I struggle to work in little snippets. And oh man, I totally relate to this. I actually just recently posted something on my Instagram stories basically expressing the same problem. So if you caught those stories, you'll know what I was saying is I am somebody who has to really focus hard on my task at hand. And so I'm not very good at just like getting 15 minutes of work done here and there. I have to sit for several hours and really get into the zone. And once I get into that like flow state or zone or whatever, I feel like I'm highly productive and I'm able to do many things and really retain them and be focused, and it's really good. And that's how I prefer to work. And so that's why on weekends I'll often work for like 5 hours at a time, kind of uninterrupted, because I feel like in that block of time I can get a lot done. And that's why in medical school and residency I used to get up really early, because I would have 2 or 3 hours of completely uninterrupted time before anything else happened in the morning. And I felt like during those few hours in the morning, that's when I could get into my kind of flow state. I do that less in fellowship, and I should really get back to it, but it's definitely hard when you get out of the habit, so I understand. My recommendation for you is, if you have a hard time working throughout the day and doing little snippets, what I would try to do is categorize the tasks of things you need to do into like mindless tasks and tasks that require concentration. And try to knock off those mindless tasks throughout the day when you can't focus but you can still get a few things done. So like cleaning out your email inbox, or responding to like text messages or emails, or like categorizing. I categorize photos in my phone and put them in little folders, and like things like that that don't really require a lot of mental energy, but they're still tasks that you need to do. So do those when you're like on public transportation, or when you're waiting for a case to start in the OR or whatever. And then really try to block out, set dedicated time where you can focus and get a lot of work done. And then during that time, be 100% focused. So turn your phone off or put it away. Try to eliminate all of their distractions. Make a domination plan of the things you're going to accomplish during that small session of time, and then just like knock it out and get it done. And I think that's a better way to be productive. Okay guys, so those are some little productivity tips and questions answered. I hope you enjoy. Let me know what other questions you have in the comments below, and whether or not you like this video. Don't forget to subscribe, it really helps me out. And I hope you guys are all having a wonderful day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye!